I have family in Branson, Missouri, so glad to see someone else from Missouri here. California, okay. Krishna, also from California. If we have not noticed it yet, in the chat, we're doing some short introductions. So please jump in there, introduce yourself, where you're from, and thank you so much for being here. Wait a second. It's 7:30 in the morning in California. that just hit me. I appreciate it even more that we have folks on the Pacific Coast that are joining us. So really appreciate it so much. I'm East Coast time, so being in Ohio, it's only 10:30 right now. So a little bit later start for me. So we will give just a buffer of maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Been up since 4, Krishna? Oh my goodness. Wow, that's good. I'm glad it's been worth it. Yeah, so we'll give a buffer time of about a minute, maybe 2, in case there's any people left to jump into our room. And so first and foremost, I want to welcome everyone who is here. Thank you. I hope the morning so far has been really good. I think we'll probably kick it off to start just to kind of hear about some of y'all's experiences. So first and foremost, if you all are comfortable, please turn on your cameras so that we can see each other. I don't know if that's been standard so far, but if you could, for this particular room, would really appreciate if y'all could turn on your cameras, just so that way it's much more personal. Do not worry about whether or not your hair is done, whether or not you're wearing the right clothes. I don't care. So this is a super relaxed environment. I'm just really thrilled that you're here. Nice, love it. So, Miss Olson, how do you pronounce your first name?
I pronounce it Isabella, but I also go by Isa, so.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I love that. Isabella. Love it. Ariana, Megan. Got it. Okay. I think we have the majority of the folks who are going to be with us today in the room already. So first, what has the morning looked like for you all so far? I would just love to hear some of your experiences. Or is this the first event of the day?
I can jump in.
Yeah.
I've been jumping from workshop to workshop, and it's been really cool. Also visiting exhibitor booths and getting to know people. So it's been a very interesting and eventful morning for me. I'm excited for the rest of the day, though.
Good. Thank you. What else? Other highlights?
Yeah, I can go next. I've been, once again, like Krishna, jumping from workshop to workshop and kind of exploring the booths and like chatting with some of the people from the booths and learning more about different organizations, which has been really cool. And also just exploring the comedy, like the website that has like the whole platform is just so cool and so in depth and has a ton of opportunities to explore. So it's been really great.
It's wonderful. Thank you. Anything else to add for folks both on? Anyone want to jump in? Okay, well, a little bit of background about myself. So I'm originally from Ohio, like I mentioned. If you know where Columbus is, which is pretty much in the center of the state, I live probably 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes from downtown Columbus. So I'm just on the outskirts of the city. I've been working closely with Ohio HOSA for a couple years now. And my background in particular, my wife is really involved in public health. So I actually heard of HOSA kind of through her initially a few years ago, but it wasn't until I connected with Jim Scott. And so I believe he is the chairman elect for the international HOSA right now. And it's been wonderful to be able to work with such high caliber students in HOSA. Honestly, it's been an absolute highlight for me. I really, really love the organization. I fully support and believe the mission and what it's doing for students. What I like to say is to kind of put this in perspective, and certainly to start everything out today, you know, what HOSA does, it's not like, you know, you're going into industry and we're essentially selling trinkets or, you know, these small little knickknacks. I mean, what we're doing is we're investing into human lives. We're investing into young people to build them up, to fill the industry and where those needs are most prevalent. So it's an amazing mission that I fully support and fully believe in. I myself spent a lot of time in another CTSO, Career Tech Student Organization, called FFA. So it was really focused in agriculture. But as you all know, nutrition and nutrition relates to human health and between the various CTSOs. And I'm really glad to be able to have the privilege to work closer with hosts over these past couple of years. Today, to provide a little bit of context, we are going to be talking, can we keep balance? How do we continue to, and if we could just kind of take to a moment to think to ourselves, everything that we have due, everything that we wise over the next, say, month or so. So just think to yourself and think of everything that you have going on. Might be slightly overwhelming. or perhaps not, because it's summer, which is maybe when school comes back around in August here again. And if you're like me, and probably almost every other human being in the world, it might be difficult sometimes to balance all the different commitments and priorities that we have going on. Thanks for joining us. I know we just had one more person jump into the room. If you're comfortable, feel free to turn on your camera. We're just kind of just getting started in the conversation about balance and what it looks like and how we can hang on to it, and what are some cool tips and tricks, techniques that we can use to make sure we're prioritizing the various responsibilities we have going on in our life. And so what we'll do is we'll break that down into three categories. One, we're going to be able to survey the land that we have around us. Two, we're going to be able to try to attempt to figure out the ways that we are trying to balance what we have going on. And last but not least, we are going to make an effort to restructure and recommit to the things that we have going on right now in our busy schedules and lives. So I appreciate those who are in this room. I really do. I encourage this to be a discussion between all of us. This isn't something I'm going to pretend to know everything about. And that's the point of these conversations, is so that we can unpack it together and explore a little bit more in depth how and what we can do with balance. So first things first, let's go ahead, let's survey the land. We're going to have a little competition. We're going to run around our homes and wherever we might be. So if for some reason we are in a school building, or if we are at work, whatever it might be, we're going to run around and we're going to do our best to try to acquire the 10 most random things that we can find in our home. Okay, the 10 most random things we can find in our home. Before we do that, we just had one more individual jump in. So just a moment, Luke will be joining us. I want to make sure Luke gets a little bit of instruction before everyone takes off and I play some good music. If y'all have song requests, drop them in the chat. Luke is still waiting to join. We might get started before he gets in. So what questions do we have before we get started on acquiring the 12 most bizarre, most random things that we can find in our home? No limits.
Is it 12 or 10?
12. I'm sorry, did I say 10 initially?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, sorry about that. I meant 12. 12, yes. 12,
Okay.
10 is the perfect number. Luke, thank you for joining us. To give some context, we're talking about balance today. Tiffany is also in the waiting room. See, this is why we go slow at the beginning. We'll let Tiffany join. Welcome, Tiffany and Luke. Thanks for joining. If you're both comfortable, please go ahead and turn on your camera so that we can see you and we can make it a personal space. Alicia or Alicia, however you may pronounce your name, if you want to also turn on your camera, feel free to, but thanks for being here. We're talking about balance, and we are having a competition right now to run around our homes and gather up the 12 most bizarre, most random items that we can. We are allowed to leave our seat, go to any room in the house that we want. All right, we are going to have no more than, let's go 3 minutes, okay? So that's 10:43 East Coast time. Subtract 1 hour if you're Central, subtract 2 if you're Mountain, subtract 3 if you're Pacific. Are we ready? Get set, go. Running around our house, 12 random items.
I messed up tonight. I lost another fight. I still messed up, but I'll just start again. I keep falling down. I keep on hitting the ground. I always gotta know, see what's next. Birds don't just fly, they fall down and get up. Nobody works without getting it wrong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end. And I'll start. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I keep fail. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end. And I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I keep fail. Try everything. Try everything. Try everything. How far you come, feel the heart with love. Maybe you've done enough. Take a deep breath. Don't beat yourself up. No need to run so fast. Sometimes we come up, but we did our best. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end. And I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I keep fail. I won't give up. No, I won't give in till I reach the end. And start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I keep fail. I'll keep on making those new mistakes. I'll keep on
We'll give another 30 seconds for those who are still not back at the at the laptop or phone, hopefully they can hear me. Let's go another 30 seconds.
Try everything. Try everything. Try everything. Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. You know too many troubles, all these lovers that you're losing control. You like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar and gold. I want the good life every good night, you're a home.
Okay, looks like we have the majority of the folks back. A reminder, I did send it in the chat, but if your camera is not on, we would really appreciate if you're ready to either drop in the chat or turn on your mic to share with us what you have. So let's just go around, and if we can, for our best ability, hold up the items in front of us on camera if we have our camera on, so we can just kind of take a look around. Lots of really bizarre things. This is great. So my favorite part is is how some people like identified specific rooms, and so you'll notice like some people have a bunch of like kitchen stuff, others like random bedroom items. So what about our folks who are off camera right now? Let's have one of y'all go ahead, turn on your mic, and share with us what you came up with. So Catherine,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, perfect.
I have a mask. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
All right. I have a mask, a hair clip, nail polish remover, an empty can of LaCroix, a ring, and a plasmid I made in bio class. Some other like little trinkets.
I love that, Catherine. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Let's get one more person who doesn't have their camera on to share with us what they came up with. Thank you, Catherine. One more person. We need someone bold. Okay, we'll turn it over to someone with their camera on. So Megan, I realized that you turned yours on recently, so that's really awesome. Thank you. Would you like to share with us what you came up with?
Sure. I have some dish soap, a jar, a pineapple cup, a mask, a spoon, fake plants, cat tape dispenser, some Kleenex, some lotion, laundry detergent, and a shoe.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. We had a couple people who ended up grabbing a mask. I wonder why. So we're talking about balance, right? And so what these are going to represent, all these random items that we have, 12 items. These are kind of almost like the 12 habits that we have throughout the day. We are by nature very like habitual people. We have habits. In fact, there has actually been like different studies, like scientific research, that have examined people with memory loss and the way that they still continue to live their life. And even people with memory loss still have certain habits that they hang on to. So by nature, there are certain things that we just have built in to our day, the things that we can't set aside. So we wake up in the morning, we have a specific routine. We have, maybe we have a meal a couple times a day. We go to school or we go to work or we go drive to our grandparents' house, whatever that routine is. Let's say we have about 12 random items throughout the day that we're always constantly having to fit in to whatever, big picture items that we have. And so to kind of help visualize this, let's make sure that we have maybe something to capture down some notes on. So whether that's our laptop itself or perhaps a pen and paper, let's just capture down what are some of the big commitments or priorities on in our life right now. So 6. What are 6 just habits we have for a single day? And then 6 things that work to school and our education, to getting our driver's license, whatever it may be, things that we have that we need to prioritize. So let's go ahead and take the next couple minutes to do so, and we'll bring it back together. For those of us who have just joined, we are talking about balance. And right now we're in around our homes. We grabbed 12 random items. Sure can. We grabbed 12 random items. And so what we're doing is we're just capturing down on a piece of paper or our laptop, 6 and 6. 6 things that we just do out of habit every day, whether that's waking up, taking a shower, brushing our teeth, eating, things that we just can't set aside. And then another 6 things that we just have going on in our life that are really big priorities, like getting our driver's license and staying top of summer classes and getting certifications, or trying to commit to like friends and hanging out. So 6 and 6, that's what we're doing right now.
I've been stuck in motion, moving too fast, trying to catch a moment, but it slips through my hands. All I see are long days and dark nights. I'm lost without you, but I'm on my way, so hold tight. I'm coming home tonight, meet me in the valley where the kids light into the morning. Oh my God, my town is coming alive. I'm coming home tonight. I know you're ready for the stars to fly into the morning. Oh my God, my town is coming alive. 'Cause I'm coming home to. 'Cause I'm coming home to. Don't wanna spend my whole life catching a breath. 'Cause I've been running round and round and round, and I got nothing left. There's nothing like a sunset skyline to let you know you're almost home. So breathe in and hold tight. I'm coming home tonight. Meet me in the valley where the kids collide into the morning. Oh my God, my town is coming alive. I'm coming home tonight. I know you're ready for the stars to fly into the morning. Oh my God, my town is coming alive. 'Cause I'm coming home to. 'Cause I'm coming home to.
We'll go another 60 seconds. Callie, thank you for joining us. I think there might have been one other person that just jumped in. We are talking about balance today, and we are breaking down what are 6 things that we just do out of habit every day, whether it's waking up, taking a shower, brushing our teeth, and then 6 things that we have like to prioritize in our life. Big commitments, getting a driver's license, going to school, going to work, hanging out with friends. 6 and 6. Should be fairly easy to come up with those. Maybe we do have to think a little bit because we might not recognize everything that we have going on, but they're there. They're definitely there. We're going to unpack that in the next 30 seconds. Try to wrap up where we are currently.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong hanging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You can got the black gold banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
All right, let's go ahead and bring it back together. Hopefully we're able to come up with those 12, 12 key things. Let's have just a few folks share what is on their list regarding just habits, things that they have to do every single day. In fact, let's do it this way. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's have everyone in the room right now. Everyone just drop your ideas in the chat. Just fire them off. Type one, send it in. Type one, send it in. Type one, send it in. Let's just have everyone who is on right now drop in there. What are some of the habits that we have in our daily life? That's good. That's good, Sophia. Yeah. These are great. Hopefully we're sleeping. That's good. Drink, Alicia, I love that. Drink coffee. Eat bread, banana, mask, purse. Yep. Praying before a meal. Playing violin. TikTok. Love that that's scheduled in. That is a habit and a priority. These are fantastic. Dinner with the family. Isabella, that's still the coolest name I think I've ever heard. Awesome. Okay, let's switch gears. Priorities, like what are big things that we have going on that we have to commit our time to outside of just normal habit, everyday stuff? Oh, so, okay, that's right. Extracurriculars like swimming, planning for college, online health class. Yeah. I'm taking online classes this summer too. I should probably mention this. I'm not that old. I'm only 21, so I'm not that far off from y'all. Applying for scholarships. Amen to that. Dancing. That's so fun. Oh my gosh. Tiffany, you take ASL?
Yes, I've recently took it. I'm 1 week in within the class. It's a 5-week course.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
Yes, it's really fun.
Oh, good. I love American Sign Language. My sister is an interpreter in Cincinnati, and I had a really great friend of mine who was deaf growing up. And so I think it's just a wonderful privilege for anyone to be able to take a foreign language and kind of draw near to other cultures and the way people view life. And so I think that's really wonderful. Learning to cook. I wish. I try. I wish. I'm not all that good. It's kind of funny because neither my wife or I are really great cooks. So we figured it out. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. We've really broken down, hopefully, a good way to kind of view our lens of everything we have going on. And so this is probably a really great way for us to kind of revisit maybe down the road too. If ever we feel like we're getting a little overwhelmed, and it's that feeling that we're probably familiar with, it's like, maybe it's a gut feeling, like maybe we notice like we're sitting there at a desk, we're behind a screen all day, and out of nowhere, we're just like, and then we just push forward. I mean, that's when we begin to realize we're hitting our limit in some capacity. There is like the comfort level, it's just outside of the comfort level, and then there's just a little bit to where we become overwhelmed. And we have to be aware that that's going on. So it's always really helpful in talking about balance. Take this beyond just HOSA, take this beyond high school, take this beyond college, take this beyond, you know, anything that we have in this room right now, just focusing on your life as a human being, as a person. It's so, so valuable for yourself, your health, your well-being, your mental state, and your friends and your family. If you're able to just first maybe be selfish a little bit before you're selfless. And what I mean by that is make sure you're in a good state to be able to serve the folks around you. And it's so crucial to sometimes take a step back and survey the land around us. What do we have going on right now? And then the next step, and what we're going to talk about, is what does prioritizing really look like? And so here are the 3 key takeaways, if we want to write these down, about balance. Okay, how can we balance what we have going on after we survey and realize this is everything I have going on in front of me? I'm a big whiteboard guy, so I hope one day I can put a whiteboard up on this wall and just be able to write all my thoughts and crazy ideas down. So number 1 in prioritizing, and invest into key relationships. Invest into key relationships. And what that can look like is look at very big historical figures, folks that we look to for kind of like, it's the key historical figures, the names that we repeat over and over again: Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, you know, some really big names, Gandhi. When you look at their life and you examine their inner circle, you'll notice that a lot of these really big names had a core group of people. Every single one had a core group of people. Sometimes that group changes, it alters as their life experience changes and evolves. So does their relationship dynamics. And that's a good thing. That's okay. It's totally appropriate for that to happen. But investing into the key relationships so that we can add depth to it. Sometimes we realize it's about a mile wide, right? And about an inch thick when we're pouring into just so much around us. So invest in the key relationships. Number 2, learn to say no. Anyone bad at just saying no? You know, share of hands. Yeah, okay. So yeah, there we go. Thank you, Callie. Yeah, sometimes I am too, honestly. For the life of me in high school, I could just never say no. I could never say no. And frankly, it's something that I'm still learning, still relearning. And I usually have to stop, take a step back, look at everything I have going on and say, shoot, like I gotta say no to some stuff because it's just too much. It is a really great thing to be able to say no. And if sometimes we're hesitant because we think that we might miss out on an opportunity, just keep in mind, there's no such thing as a backup plan. There are simply forward plans. It is one door that's always going to open up to 100 more. So be willing to be courageous to take that step to say no and push forward. Hannah, thank you for joining us. We appreciate first of all seeing you. But we're talking about balance right now, and we're talking about the 3 big takeaways about prioritizing things in our life. And so one of those things is investing into key relationships. We just covered learn to say no. And that 3rd thing, focus on, I'm going to use an analogy here. Many of us might have seen it, but if I were to take just, let's say, this box here, and I opened it up, it's just got some coins in it, but there's been an analogy that's been used a lot in balancing and prioritizing and being able to schedule out things, is when we begin to fill our box with the things that we have going on. What do we start with? Sometimes we start with like the pennies or sometimes the sand, and that sand gets tossed in there and it fills up almost to the top because we have all these little things that we have going on. Sometimes we feel like we get a return on the investment that we make. A lot of times we just don't because it's busy work. But if we start with the bigger rocks, like the larger coins, what we'll begin to notice is that as we can put those big rocks in first, there's going to be more room for all the little things like the sand to seep down in to all the cracks and fill in the space. Because when we fill a cup up with all the sand and then start trying to put all the rocks in, the rocks will never fall in between what we have there already. So focus on the big rocks in your life is the 3rd takeaway. Focus on the big rocks. What are the 4 biggest things that we want to invest our time into? Is that like our 2 closest friends? It's our education and applying for scholarships. I mean, we can look back at this list. This is why we did this list. Is it my online ASL class? Identify those key things. Focus on the big rocks. And then all the small things, we can determine, is there really value in me investing my time? Those are our 3 big takeaways when it comes to balance. And so what we're going to do right now, now that we've grabbed these 12 random items, we're going to be able to kind of have another fun competition to help illustrate this idea that we're talking about when it comes to balance. So this wasn't just for nothing. I didn't just have you grab 12 random items, just have them all pretty around your desk. So those who have joined us and might have missed that, you'll need some just random items to grab around your home. And we will be having a competition to see who can build the tallest tower using these 12 random items. Total chance, no idea what these are going to look like, but I'm so excited to see what in the world is going to come of this. So as we're doing this, keep in the back of our mind, how can we balance this structure best? What items do we need to prioritize to make us successful? What questions do we have before we begin? Fantastic. Okay, we're going to have this. So 11:09 Eastern, and go. Stacking these items, tallest tower will win. Looking good, looking good. Yes, yes, love it, Alicia. Thank you. That's looking good. Nice, Megan. Love it, Isabella. You're doing great, Krishna. Sophia, that light bulb. You're so bold. Nice, Hannah. I saw the stacks chips. Oh yeah. Megan, the pineapple just is really the cherry on top of everything. This is great. Got about 2 more minutes. One minute. Right there. So our time is now up. Let's make sure to, as best we can, see if these structures are holding up well. Wonderful work on what we're able to put together. So is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Alicia. Okay. Alicia, wonderful work. That looks good. It looks like there might even be photos on there. Is that right? Looks like there's maybe it's just a design, but it looks like there's pictures.
It's a bottle of water.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for turning on your camera. I appreciate it so much. Hannah, thanks for jumping on and just going with it. I know you ran around to grab some stuff. So
oh
love
yeah,
it.
I'm not in my room, so I had to just kind of scavenger around whatever was closest to me, and it's just like such a weird variety of items, but I think it works pretty well.
Love that. I was really hoping someone was like not at their home and then they would have to like, they were like maybe visiting someone else and start going through a bunch of random items in someone's home. Megan, the pineapple just really wins it for me. It's such an aesthetic. I love it. Sophia, the balancing technique that you have going on is really quite spectacular.
I was trying to put the light bulb in, but it actually broke.
The light bulb did?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Wow. I was thinking, I was like, boy, I sure hope that thing doesn't fall off, but that's great. That's a fun story. Well, if any complaints, you can just take it up with HOSA. I'm just simply here. Isabella, so let's see, what do you have in there? It looks like you have it in the plant. Oh, okay, now I see. Wow, looking good. Little Eiffel Tower. I could have swore for some reason the plant behind you, it looked like you had it in the plant. It still kind of does. And so I want to make sure, is it Prishna or Prishna?
It's Prishna.
Prishna, okay.
Yeah.
I love the flower.
I got a whole, like, the mask is up there with my card and everything.
Love it, love it. And the folks who don't have their camera on, that's okay. No worries at all. Trust that I'm sure you probably came up with something equally as creative. So the last thing that we're gonna do is, if y'all would like, that we haven't had time to unpack, so feel free to tweet them at me. Tag at HOSA if you'd like. Be sure to do that. You can tag me in it. That's pretty much my handle for everything between Instagram, Twitter. I mean, Facebook, just look up Colson McCoy. The only thing is like my name is spelled a little odd. So I just dropped it in the chat for you all. Thank you for your time today. I know we have a couple minutes left and I want to leave those minutes to you, but just to kind of one time finalize on the idea of balance and the way that we prioritize our big three key takeaways: invest into those key relationships, learn to say no, and focus on the big rocks that we have in our life so that we can turn our life into the beautiful structures that we have here. Though sometimes wild and constantly changing, we will always have to relearn balance. There's no way that we're just gonna become, perfect at it. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to become a little bit better than we were the day before. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I've really loved this time. As always, I love working with HOSA. So let's take the last couple minutes, questions that you all have, comments that you have, and would just love to know where you all are headed off to next. So I'll leave that to you all. You lead the way.
Hey guys, can we take a quick picture real quick? Thanks, guys. You look fabulous.
Please DM that to me. Thank you. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed the session. Hope you have a good day too. Special shout out to Jake. I know he works with HOSA, and he's been helping me out. He's from Texas, so he's been in the background here. But thank you, Jake, for helping us out. So you have lots of requests to see the picture.
Yeah, guys,
Thank
drop
you.
your Instagrams. Just so I'll take a quick picture and I'll DM to you guys.
This is cool. Now we can stay connected. Nice. Love it.
I also put mine below. If I don't send it to you guys in like the next 10 minutes, just shoot me a message and I'll know.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry. I was not. I hope you haven't taken the picture yet. Sweet. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thank you for having this session with us.
Yeah.
I will be
absolutely, Jake.
ending it now for next
That
session.
sounds good. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, if you all need anything further.
All right. Thank you.
See you, Jake.